Hey guys, hello, welcome to Naveed for Speed. You join me at the start of a mini road trip where I'll be driving from here in Yorkshire all the way down to Cornwall. It's a round trip of over 800 miles, and the car that I'm going to be taking is this. It's the Kia EV6. Nowadays, we're being told that range anxiety is a thing of the past. If you plan well and you plan ahead, then you can go just as far in an electric car as you can in a petrol or diesel car. And that's what I'm going to try and find out. How easy is it to take an electric car on a road trip? And in the process of doing so, I'm going to see how the Kia EV6 is like on a long journey. Now, in this video, I'm going to be showing you when I stop and charge the car. I'm going to be showing you certain features of the car, this new Kia EV6, which can go further and can charge faster than the last Kia EV6. So before anything else, let's get on the journey.
First, I had to charge the car, which meant going to my local rapid charger. That also gave me an opportunity to get something to eat before the journey.
Let's begin the journey. I've just managed to make it out of the city. I'm on the motorway now, and this is the start of the journey. So let's see what this car is like on this journey, and let's see what the journey is like in terms of charging this car along the way. But before I do that, I want to talk about how this car feels around the city, because I've been driving this car around the city for the last few days, and there are a couple of things that I want to mention. The first thing is the seating position. Now, generally the seating position is quite good. You don't feel like you're sat too low or too high in the car, and you got good visibility of the road ahead because that bonnet slopes down all the way down the front. So even if I stretch upwards, I can't see that bonnet in front of me. It's quite difficult to see. Now, I will talk about the exterior features of this car when I do a bit of a walk around of the car later in this video, so stay tuned for that. But I do want to mention how this car feels when you're driving it. The steering wheel feels nice and progressive. The brake is linear. You know, you do get, obviously, it's a little bit hard to judge because of that regenerative braking, but otherwise it's totally fine. One thing that I do like about Kia vehicles are the regenerative braking flappy paddles that you get behind the steering wheel, which are really good to use. I use them all the time because you can choose what level of regenerative braking you want, which is great because if you're going down a hill, depending on the gradient of the hill, you can change the amount of regenerative braking that you feel, that you get, so you don't really have to use your brake as much. Another thing that I do want to mention is the sounds, these beeps and these bongs that you get quite often. You know, there's all sorts. Sometimes it's depending on you know, the different regenerative braking modes that you want to try, and the car will tell you, you know, you can't do that. Sometimes it will be based on the speed changing on the road that you're at. So the speed limit changing, it will warn you of that. There's all sorts of things that this car will alert you of. I do also want to mention how the overall driving feel in terms of the ride quality, because this car is, I feel like I'm sat quite low, sort of medium but low, and it's nice and smooth when you're coming out of junctions, for example, and when you're accelerating. But when you're going over bumps or speed bumps in particular, the ride seems a little bit busy. I won't say it's firm. It is a little bit on the firm side, but I won't say it's firm. I think it's firm, but also a little bit bouncy at the same time. So when you are going over those bumps, you will feel like you're, you know, jolted around a little bit, but it's not that bad. I do mention it, but it's a minor detail that I have to mention. Other than that, driving around the city, this car is totally fine. In fact, I've just got the car now. I've been driving it around the city for around 33 miles. I've got the trip computer in front of me, and it's telling me that my fuel economy, or my electric energy consumption, has been 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reset that, which I do on this side. There we go. I'm going to reset that because we're starting this journey and I want to tell you what this journey is like. I want to tell you exactly how it feels on this journey. So I've set everything to 0 and we'll see how this goes. I'll report stuff along the way. The charge of the battery is on 87, and yeah, I'll let you know how much charge it uses, and I'll let you know how much I can charge on the way. So let's continue and see how this goes.
The start of the journey was mostly uneventful, apart from a bit of traffic near Manchester. But it only added 7 minutes to the total journey time, and pretty soon I was on the M6 motorway.
Situation update. I've just gone past Manchester and I'm on the M6 motorway on the way down in the direction of Birmingham. Now I've done 53 miles and it's taken me 55 minutes. So an average speed of just under 60 miles per hour. Now the car is telling me that I have an economy figure of 4 miles per kilowatt hour, which I think is pretty decent. Right now I'm on 74% charge on the battery, and I think I could probably go around another 150 miles before I need to start looking for a charger. So when we get towards Birmingham or maybe past Birmingham, that's probably when I'll start looking for a charger. But let me tell you why I'm on this journey in the first place. Of course, I'm heading down towards Cornwall. In particular, I want to go to Land's End. The reason why I want to do that is because a year and a half ago, I went on the NC500 and I went all the way to John O'Groats, which is, you know, right far in the northeasterly point of the UK. It's right at the far tip of the UK, of mainland UK, and Land's End is the opposite. It's the southwesterly point. It's right at the very tip of mainland UK at the bottom. It's pretty much the furthest place that you can be from John O'Groats on mainland UK. And of course, one day I would like to do an end-to-end challenge where I drive from Land's End to John O'Groats or John O'Groats to Land's End. That would be pretty cool. But for now, I thought let's go down to Land's End. It's Easter weekend that I'm doing this on, so it might be quite busy, but this is, I guess, a pretty popular destination for people to go during days like, or during weekends like the Easter weekend. Now let me briefly tell you a little bit about the car and how it's been feeling so far. Because this car is It's a relatively long car, but the wheelbase is quite long as well. And that means that this car is quite stable on the motorway. When you're driving a little bit faster, it's, you know, I don't have to make a lot of little adjustments with the steering wheel, and it just feels nice and smooth. So that's really quite good. I do have to mention the sensors on the steering wheel as well, because generally in a car, when you take your hand off the steering wheel, the car will alert you to say, put your hand back on the steering wheel. But some cars, even when you're just touching the steering wheel, maybe you're just holding it like this or down here, even when you're just touching the steering wheel, the car won't recognize that you are holding the steering wheel. Well, in the new Kia EV6, you've got these capacitive touch sensors. So even if you're just touching the steering wheel, the car won't alert you to say, put your hand back on the steering wheel. It will recognize that you're already holding the steering wheel. And on a long journey like this, that's really quite good. That's an example of some of the sounds that I was talking about, those beeps and those bongs that you can hear in this car. That particular one is telling me that there's a speed camera coming up, and I think that's quite helpful. Just so you can always just be aware that you can be driving at a safe speed. So I think that's really quite good. But anyway, I'm going to continue on this journey. So far so good, so far comfortable. The temperature outside is about 11 degrees, but inside the car, I don't need the AC on. You've got to bear in mind that I have been driving around the city with the AC on, with heated seats on, well, not AC, with a heater on, with heated seats and with the heated steering wheel on. Whereas now, today is not too bad, so I've not had any of that stuff on. So we should get a very good economy figure, and we should go quite far before having to charge. But I'm going to continue, and I'll see you when I stop to charge the car.
I continued the journey towards Birmingham and inevitably encountered more traffic. This time I was delayed by a little bit longer. During the journey, it even started to rain, but progress was good.
So I've just stopped to charge the car. I've been driving for about 3.5 hours now, done around 200 miles. And I've decided to stop here in Bristol at this InstaVolt charger. Now, InstaVolt have sponsored this video, and I want to take a minute to tell you a little bit about InstaVolt chargers. InstaVolt is the largest rapid EV charging network in the UK, and they have chargers all over the UK that are reliable. I've never been to an InstaVolt charger that hasn't been working. And InstaVolt chargers also come in convenient locations like here next to this co-op, where you can go and you can get yourself a snack or you can get yourself something to eat. You also have, in some chargers like this one, you have an accessible bay. So it's easy for you to get in and out your car without being parked too close to other cars. And more importantly, the place is well lit. There are street lamps here. So that means even if you are charging your car late at night, when it's dark, you know that you can still be safe.
It's also convenient since I was using the InstaVolt app to find available chargers and even paying through the app. But if you'd prefer, you can simply tap your contactless card.
Just charged the car. I've got 78% charge left. I've just managed to get back onto the M5 motorway. I'm going over a bridge now actually, and it looks pretty cool over here. But anyway, yes, I'm headed on towards Plymouth, which is where I'm going to spend the night tonight before I continue on into Cornwall towards Land's End. Now, I do want to update you slightly. I've now got 223 miles of range. That's what the car's telling me. Still got an economy figure of around 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. So I think we'll do pretty well. I think when I get to Plymouth overnight, I think I'm going to charge the car at night, because with InstaVolt you get charging at a discounted rate in the night time. So I think it's between 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. you get a discounted rate. So make sure you go check that out. Make sure you go onto their website and you can see all the information on that. I'll put a link to their website in the description of this video. But I want to talk a little bit more about this Kia EV6, because this is the new Kia EV6 and it's been updated. There's some updates to the styling, which I'll talk about when I tell you a little bit about the exterior and interior of the car. But I want to talk about the fact that this car can now go further than the previous car, and it can charge faster as well. So that's because of the new battery. That battery is an 84 kilowatt hour battery. That battery comes in all the different versions of the car, and you can get it with either a single motor or a dual motor. That 84 kilowatt hour battery has been increased in size from 77.4 kilowatt hour battery. Now it's 84. So it's quite a sizable upgrade. Now, obviously, with a larger battery, you would imagine the batteries are heavier, but not in this case, because Kia have said that this new battery, despite having a larger capacity, is actually 1 kilogram lighter than that previous battery. So there's a massive improvement there, and it can charge faster as well. But what it means is, with this single, I've got the single motor version in this car. I've also got the GT Line S, so it's the top spec. You can either get it in the Air, the GT Line, or the GT Line S. I've got the top spec GT Line S, but I've got it with the single motor, not the dual motor. Now this produces 225 brake horsepower, and it means that because it's a single motor, it has a longer range. Now, depending on which version of the car you can get up to 361 miles of quoted range, combined range. Whereas in this car, because it's the top spec GT Line S, it has a combined quoted range of 347 miles. Now, for me, that's perfectly fine. That's great for this journey. I managed to find that InstaVolt charger that I found charged up to 160 kilowatts. So it was quite a fast charger. And yeah, now I'm on my way, and I'll continue to update you on the journey.
During the last stretch of the journey on day one, the sun began to set, which looked incredible. But when I got close to my hotel, I made use of another InstaVolt rapid charger to top up the battery, ready for the next day.
So here we are at the end of a long day, 7 hours of driving. Here's the car right behind me. I've just parked up at the hotel, which is this building over here. I'm gonna go check in and get some rest, because tomorrow I'm going to continue the journey towards Land's End. I'll see you there. Good morning, you joined me on day 2. I've had a terrible night's sleep because I can't really sleep in hotels too well. But today's day 2, and today we're going to push on towards Land's End, towards the end of my journey. Now, I just want to take a moment to show you around the exterior and the interior of the new Kia EV6 and show you some of the new features of the car. To start with, I want to mention this paint color, because this is a new paint color for the Kia EV6. It's called Wolf Grey. And with the sun shining through today, I think it looks really quite good. Let me show you the exterior features, and I'll start from the front of the car, because the first thing you'll notice is this bonnet, which slopes down quite a lot at the front here. What that means is when you're sat in the driver's seat and you're looking out ahead of you, you can see the road really well. You can actually see the road right in front, immediately in front of you, and it makes parking and just maneuvering the car around a car park, for example, quite easy. Let me show you this front area here, because this front bumper, I do apologize about the bugs on the car because I am on a road trip. I've covered a lot of miles in this car and I've not had a chance to wash it. But this is what happens when you take an electric car on a long journey, or any car rather. Anyway, I'll show you this front bumper, because this front bumper has been redesigned. Because this is the GT Line S version that I have, you've got this sort of wing effect on either side of the bumper. It's also on this side as well. And you'll see that same theme at the back of the car when I take you there as well. You'll also notice these lights. These lights come in the Starlight Map Constellation theme that Kia have with loads of their different vehicles. In each of their cars, they've got different configurations and different patterns, but now that's a part of the Kia EV6 as well. And I think it looks really quite nice, especially at night when these LEDs are shining brightly. I think it's quite good. As we move towards the side of the car, I'll just quickly show you these wheels, because you get in the entry-level Air version of the car, you get 19-inch alloy wheels. In the GT line, you also get 19-inch, but in this one, you got 20-inch alloy wheels. And I think they look really quite good because they give this whole car a bit more of a presence. 20-inch wheels, I think, they do look cool. As we move towards the side of the car, now you'll see the dimensions of the car. The car is 4.7 meters long, and the wheelbase is 2.9 meters long. So you've got a relatively large wheelbase. Have a look at this. Look at the front overhang, and look at the rear overhang. It's not that large. So what that means, when you look at the entire dimensions of the car, it means that you've got the wheels pushed out as far as you can, which means inside the car you should have a lot of legroom. That's a benefit of an electric car, that everything can be done in comfort. I also want to mention this bit of body trim that goes from the bottom all the way along here, and then it sort of swerves upwards and it gets incorporated into sort of these rear lights. I really quite like that. Let's come to the back here, because you've got this sort of rear light bar over here, which acts as a bit of a spoiler, and then you've got the spoiler at the top as well. And you remember I mentioned that wing effect at the front? You also get that at the back here on both sides as well. I'll just very quickly show you the boot as well, because back here you get 480 liters of boot space. Got some boots in there ready for the day ahead, just in case there's more adventures to be had. But yes, you get 480 liters of boot space back here with the seats up. The seats do go down with a 40-60 split, and you get a little area for like a ski hatch to load through. At the front you also get 52 liters of luggage space as well. I would say that's enough to store charging cables, but I think it's probably just a little bit more than that. Let me show you the interior of the car before I continue my journey. So let me tell you about the interior of the Kia EV6. Now, in particular, this new Kia EV6. Now, the one that I have is the top spec GT Line S version. You can get it in GT Line S, GT Line, or the entry-level Air version. Now, one of the biggest differences between all the different versions are the seats. In this GT Line S version, you get artificial suede with this white artificial leather on the bolsters. If you go for the entry-level Air version, you get fabric, black fabric and white artificial leather. And if you go for the mid-spec GT line, you get the white artificial leather with black artificial leather. So depending on which version you get different seats. I quite like these suede seats. They are comfortable, they hold you a little bit into place, and they come with the relaxation function. So when you are charging the car, you can simply press this button and hold it down on your right hand side, and it will recline the seats for you. It's just put the steering wheel up as well, and there you are. You got, you're laid back, you can relax. I was doing this when I was charging the car, I had the laptop in front of me, so that's really quite convenient. And then you just press the button on the side and it brings you back to your normal position, and the steering wheel goes back into its normal position. Now let me tell you about the steering wheel, because this steering wheel is quite interesting. So it comes in this sort of square shape, although I thought it was more of a hexagonal shape, but I've been told it's more of a square shape. It's a 3-spoke steering wheel. I believe you can get a 2-spoke version in the entry-level Air. version. It is electronically adjustable using this button on the side here. Now, I did mention that I did struggle a little bit to find the perfect steering wheel, seating position. And that's because where I felt comfortable in the seating position that I was comfortable in, I found that the steering wheel was coming in the way of some of the information on these screens. So I did have to adjust it a little bit. And I think I managed to find a decent position for the long journey. So that's quite good. I'll talk about these screens because you've got these two curved screens over here. Both are 12.3 inches, and you get the driver instrument cluster over here, which gives you a load of information. You can just see the sort of figures that I've been getting in terms of economy and driving figures and the amount of miles that I've done. And on this one is your infotainment system. So you've got your, your radio and everything on there. Comes in this dark theme. I quite like that because it means that in the nighttime, it's not going to blind you too much. Now, one thing which I find quite interesting is the climate controls, which are down here, and this touch screen. You can touch them to change what you need to down here, and they are separate from the main touch screen. So they're always, not always visible. I'll tell you about that in a second. But you can adjust things that you need to hear, and you can turn the AC on or off as well. But what's interesting is down here, if you press this over here, it switches this whole control from your climate control to your radio controls. So you can, not just your radio control, your entire media control, I suppose, because you've got these shortcuts to select your map or your different medias and stuff like that. So I think that's really interesting, although some of the climate control functions do stay visible over here, but you can quickly switch between climate control and what you need to. What's happened over here? Let's go back to home. Right, okay. Let me tell you about the center console area over here, because in the Kia EV3, the center console area had this sort of table that sort of comes out, and also you can move it back and forth in certain cars. But here it's fixed into place, and it comes with all these plastic materials. But this is where you have your heated seats, heated steering wheel, ventilated seats functions over here as well. Now, the heated seats and the heated steering wheel come as standard in all the different versions of the car, but that's where you use those as well. Just behind there, you've got the switch gear, which you can use to select your driving mode, so reverse or drive, etc. Just over here, you might have noticed, this is a fingerprint sensor. So in the GT Line S version, you get this fingerprint sensor, which you can use, I believe, to start the car, but you can use it to load up your own personal profile. So that's quite convenient. I saw a similar thing in the Genesis vehicles as well, so I quite like that. You've got cup holders back here, and you got wireless charger over here, which you can use to charge your phone. So that's quite convenient as well. Underneath this center console area, this floating center console area, you've got loads of space down here to store stuff. In fact, you can actually, can I take that mat out? Yeah, I don't know if I can. But anyway, loads of space out here. I've used that quite conveniently to store stuff like, stuff that you need to get hold of quite easily. So for example, you're driving along, you sneeze, you need a tissue. I've got a tissue box down here. That's quite good. You've also got these 12-volt sockets over here. You've got USB-C charging ports over here as well. So whenever you need to plug in your devices, you can put them in there as well. One thing which I really quite like are these hooks over here. You might just be able to see on the camera there. There's a hook down here, which you can use to maybe, if you put a bag there, and you can clip the top of the bag in here, so it sort of hangs down and it won't roll around. That's quite good as well. But overall, I think the interior of the Kia EV6, whilst a little bit plasticky in some places, is quite good. I like this texture that you get on the dashboard. You can see this sort of weird texture. If you spend too much time looking at it, it can be a little bit weird, but I think it's really nice. You also get that same texture over here in the center console area here, the armrest over here. So it kind of fits in with this whole theme, really quite good. And you get the Meridian sound system, which you've got speakers all throughout the car. I believe you have 14 speakers. If you go for the entry-level Air version, you don't get the Meridian sound system, you only get 6 speakers. So you get more speakers, so I think that's really quite good. But overall, a lovely place to be. I've spent many miles. I mean, you can see I've spent over 345 miles in this car so far, and I need to continue my journey now because I'm wanting to get to Land's End today. So I'll update you when I get there. I'll show you a little bit of stuff on the way, and yeah, hopefully we'll bring this journey to an end.
I picked up the journey from where I left off the day before and eventually plunged into Cornwall. Along the way, I had to stop at St Michael's Mount and get a Cornish pasty whilst I was there. After exploring some of the castle grounds, I headed for Land's End, which was only 25 minutes away. That's where my journey ended.
After 435 miles of driving, I've finally made it to Land's End. And as you can tell from the front of the car with all these bugs on there, this car has been through a lot, but it's actually done it all with ease. It's been comfortable. I've not felt tired, especially when I've reached the hotel or at the end of my journey here at Land's End. I've not felt tired. I feel fresh. And I think that's really good about the car, because over faster roads on the motorway, the car is quite stable because it's got that long wheelbase. It's really easy to use. It's got lane keep assist, it's got adaptive cruise control. In fact, it's also got some features which I quite liked, one of which was the speed camera recognition system. So it could actually recognize where the average speed cameras were, and it would tell me how far the average speed cameras went on for. And then it would tell me my speed, it would tell me the speed limit, and then it would tell me my average speed. So you can keep a track of whether you're going over the average speed or not. So I think that was a really interesting feature which showed up on the heads-up display. But otherwise, I think overall, what I've answered in this journey is you can actually drive an electric car as far as you can drive a petrol car with some advanced planning. And of course, if you use InstaVolt's app, you can actually make that journey so much easier for you. The only time that I took out of my journey was time that I would use to charge the car. And that was when I would stop to eat or stretch my legs anyway. So in general, it's just been like a normal journey. And this electric car has brought me 435 miles all the way to here at Land's End. And now I'm going to drive back, but I'm going to end this video here. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested more about the Kia EV6, write in the comments. Let me know what your questions are. And also, if you're interested in charging your car at a rapid charger around the UK, check out InstaVolt. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.